Oh, we did. Shit.
Good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another Scene in Darkness in Dublin, Season 2, because that's a thing now. And welcome to our inaugural social scene. This evening's scene is due to take place at Agrabah Nights, the noted Teftani bar and hangout. This scene will also be nicknamed The Return of Tony, the Stabbing.
It's not Tony.
I know, right? So, as is normal for patrons at Agrabah Nights, this place has not changed at all in the time that has passed. People still go here in order to forget the world around them, in order to share a few candid moments away from the limelight, in order to come and speak in safety. All of your needs are catered for via the house. This evening, only those gathered will be in attendance, at least to begin with. I will allow you to do your introductions in the order you appear on my screen. So first up will be Brett.
All right. Roros will pull up in his McLaren. I think it's the 570. It's either the 570 or the 720. I can never remember which one. But it's like pure silver. Pulls up outside, gets out with his backpack, laptop, bag, skateboard, and will proceed to skateboard into Agrabah Nights, followed by his Crimson-Eyed ally, whose name I can never remember. I need to put down on my sheet at some point.
I'll write it in the notes section.
All right, thanks. He will... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just said not to worry about it.
Oh, okay, thanks. He will skateboard into the bar area, kick up the skateboard and set it down next to the door, and will walk over to his table. Well, one of the tables there. He'll sit down, put his stuff down, and he's not his usual jovial self. He's a bit more morose today. Considering the fact he found out 2 days ago that one of the friends that he had lost when he had been gone had been pregnant when she died. So, not in a good state.
Okay. Does he order anything?
He will order camel kebab and Mountain Dew Code Red.
Okay, cool. Next up on my list to join will be Mr. Geller.
He is wearing a casual suit, quite sitting in the bar, sipping a cup of tea, reading a book. He looks in reasonable spirits.
And last but not least, we have the edgy boy.
Yes, the edgy boy. So Zephyr will walk in. Oh boy, here we go, because everyone's gonna be like, "You're just describing Tony," and I'm gonna be like, "Shut the fuck up."
She's not Chinese, though.
She's not. Well, Tony was half. She was technically in. Oh, what are they?
Continue.
Yeah. So, Zephyr will walk in. She stands at about 5'6", 5'7", give or take. It's really hard to see anything else about her, though. She's wearing boots, dark jeans, just a plain black t-shirt, and an oversized black hoodie that they've got kind of thrown over, because I'm assuming it's fucking cold right now in the land of Ire.
Yes, it is about... it's about 8 or 9 degrees here.
God damn!
Yeah.
That's fucking insane, because the thing is, I was over here, I can still go outside in some fucking shorts and a t-shirt right now. God.
Wait, so you're talking Celsius, which would be about 40-something Fahrenheit.
Which is still a lot more than the fucking shorts and t-shirt weather I got going outside. So, probably much thicker than just. She's probably wearing several hoodies in that case, just kind of layered over another. The hoods are pulled up though. Just the first one is pulled up, covering her face. On her back, she's got a backpack. And kind of, it's hard to see underneath all of the jackets, but there's a small, there's a sheath for what looks to be some type of short sword, as you know, as well as the backpack. You swear when you're not looking, or when you kind of look out of the edge or the corner of your eyes, that there's something that's moving in the backpack. She'll kind of walk forward. If there are any plants nearby, they will begin growing kind of quite quickly. And then she'll sit down and set the bag beside her and kind of unzip the top of the bag a little bit. But other than that, just kind of chill.
A small snake will poke its head out.
Fuck you.
It will
She'll
wrap
read.
around your hand like that and kind of, Yeah.
I'll have you know, this is a viper. It's not that small.
I'm aware of how large it is. I had to Google it, but I'm aware.
She will just kind of smile and gently stroke the top of the viper's head.
I'm not sure of the physical capabilities of this, but can my bag have a heating lamp?
No, I don't think I will be able to do that.
I see. Can I have a better bag that can contain a heating lamp?
I can put up a rock, and you can snuggle next to the hot rock as we walk around.
This is acceptable.
Here. For the moment, she will kind of pick her up, and unravel her, and then place her around the neck, because that's usually what a lot of snake owners do when they're out and it's cold, just body heat. So she'll wrap her around her neck.
This is acceptable. I will sleep now.
Good. Try not to scare anyone while you're there.
It will, as it said, put its head down. Can sleep.
Okay, well, I know Brett's character somewhat, and I take it I can see he's in at least some kind of emotional distress. So I'll I'll give him a friendly nod and gesture. If he wants to join me, he's welcome to do so.
Roros will raise his hand and give a slight wave back, but will go back to looking at his food. He will look over to his friend and say, "Perhaps you should see if the Emir or the Prince needs any help from you."
I shall do so as you say, Shadik. I shall return shortly.
I can't imagine they would need much, but it is always polite to offer assistance. Let me know if they need anything as well.
Of course, Shadik. He will stand, he will bow, and he will walk through the set of curtains that hangs over one side of the tent proper, through which the Emir, or the hostess, as she calls herself, often enters and leaves the room. One moment, sorry, I was looking for something.
Does anybody have any type of forces side up?
Yes.
Okay. There are a lot of vibrating objects on Roros's person. Like, you can see that there's like pure potential energy that's just been massively stored up all over his body.
Rupert's taken out a second book and looks like he's cross-referencing different passages. He special had to hide it. The book he's taken out is an English translation of the Torah.
Through the double set of curtains that the man disappeared through a few moments ago, this figure will emerge. Dressed as he is shown.
Roros will promptly stand up and pay homage.
Oh, no. Please, sit down, my boy, sit down. I came to see if you were all right. I said, how was it she described it? That you came in here with an air about you that was not Roros. And I said, that cannot be. It is always Roros. Roros will always be Roros. So I came down here to see if Roros was not Roros.
The boy will simply nod his head and sit down and say, I apologize, Prince. You have caught me in a distressing situation.
Ah, I see. He will contemplate for a few moments before he will say, so what is it that has cast the rain cloud over the head of my fine young friend?
You remember about 2 years and 4 months ago when I had to leave for family business, correct? I had to return to Dubai.
Yes.
I had friends while I was still here. Friends that you met when I left. Samira, Jewel, Sketch. You know, we met that one time when half of the bar got taken to hell. Do you remember that? I don't think you were here for that incident. It was quite interesting, though.
No, fortunately, I was elsewhere having dinner that evening, but I'm led to understand that when my fine establishment here is taken directly into the Shadowlands, away from the light of Azura Mazda, things got interesting.
Yes. For instance, Samira and Sketch managed to turn my car into a missile and injure somebody. Jewel was... It started a fast friendship between the three of us, I will say that much. When I left, it was at the behest of my family, of course. The business has to come first sometimes, even in the grip of my own studies and my own magical experiences. When I returned, I found out that Jewel had been executed for unknown crimes. Well, crimes that were not told to me. Last night, her spirit was brought back, and I found out that she was 5 months pregnant when she was murdered.
That is a very disturbing set of events. I did not know the woman well. I believe I met her on one occasion, but to be sentenced to death, well,
Rupert will politely cough. I may be able to fill in some blanks in this story if you would like.
If you can, please do so.
Okay, we will close, we'll put the books away, come over with this cup of tea, sit down. I don't believe we're acquainted, he sends to this other fellow.
Roros will promptly stand up, and I cannot remember his full name, but Roros will use it properly, and then follow it with Prince of the United Emirates, leader of the Teftani people.
Well, honor, sir. Respectful nod.
You are standing, for the record, Prince Al-Shar is fine, just to give him his abbreviation name. But
Prince Al-Shar.
You are standing in my establishment in Shati. Welcome, thrice over and thrice again.
My thanks. I am Rupert Gallo, barrister at law and Magus in good standing of the Order of Hermes.
Well, that is if one can stand good in the Order of Hermes. I tend to find that you people tend to sit down more than you stand up.
Roros is going to bite his tongue on that, but he's not going to dispute it.
Rupert will smile. He'll smile a little. I'm sure there are many traditions who would benefit from a little more sitting down and talking and thinking before acting.
I am sure that there are many traditions who would be more apt if they were to act occasionally as opposed to endlessly debate. But then again, one is one, another is another. We are all victims of the great lie.
But still, you wish to hear the story of what happened after you left the city. Where to start? I believe I first met Yuki properly on the mission to the Leviathan. Have you heard about that?
I was informed that it was a rescue mission. I had only heard about it after I had returned.
Mm.
It was my great dismay that I was not able to accompany my friends on such a important task.
The Leviathan was a great technocratic ship that had been downed. This was a mission to salvage it and claim it.
Why would you wish to salvage the words and records of the deceivers?
Because it's an incredibly powerful battleship and Aetherites wanted it.
It would have been best just to send it all to the light of Ahura Mazda, but that is why you are the traditions and we are not.
Well, better the Aetherites have it than the Technocracy. The story is long. I don't know how much detail you'd like. We entered the ship. We encountered various things. Yuki was bitten by an escaped experiment infected. And to stop her being overtaken by it, she was left in a life support pod. In that pod, however, we'd found a young progenitor, a science researcher, so responsible for said experiments, who was quite keen to defect since the Technocracy had declared her dead. We proceeded to the bridge. You can imagine there were various other horrors along the way, which I'll spare you the gory details. We were contacted by, what was it, Cypher 9, I think, one of the technocratic leaders. They appeared to threaten Yuki by pointing a weapon at the life pod. Sketch responded by murdering the defector to prove a point. The technocrats then revealed the life pod was already empty. They'd already removed her. This was rather unfortunate because at that point the ship's own intelligence no longer considered as neutral and started actively fighting us. The long story was we were able to secure the Leviathan. But last I heard, it's now being run by the Aetherites in orbit around Mars. And all the archives were recovered. The archives, incidentally, included Project Morpheus, and so it was quite instrumental in us exposing that and having it stopped. Yuki, however, became a technocratic prisoner at that point. Are you following so far? Is this all new to you?
This is not information that I was given. However, I am sensing a pattern when it comes to rescuing people that have been taken by the technocracy. Remind me again how long Nightshade remained in their custody while you guys did nothing?
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Nightshade.
No, I don't suppose you would be. He's about to die.
But perhaps that's a story you can tell me sometime. Yuki was very swiftly returned, however, she woke up on a bus shelter a day or two later, several months pregnant.
By the way, before this continues, hey Kim.
Yeah.
Your snake suddenly perks up from where it's laying, and it kind of looks at you before it'll slither down off your neck and onto the table. It's then going to slither under the table.
She's gonna look under the table.
You will hear it say, "I smell a friend."
What do you mean you smell a friend?
Under the table, you will see a fully grown king cobra.
Ah, that would be your friend. You know, fully grown, don't they get like 15 fucking feet?
Yes, you're amazed you didn't see it before now. But at this point, Erebus and the king cobra will proceed to look at each other before they will boop Snoop.
Dude, give me a warning next time. I had literally just taken a sip of water. Fuck.
The cobra will then proceed to turn, and with its glowing yellow eyes, proceed to give you what could only be the equivalent of a sup nod.
She's gonna return the sup nod. Just give the snake a sup nod. Nothing could go wrong.
Sorry, continue.
So that's how Yuki became pregnant. At least, I say 3 months pregnant after being gone for a day or two. I believe Sketch left the city at that point. You can imagine various people were unhappy with him. How much do you know about the child?
I know that I did not know about the child. I only just last night learned that the person that I had met as Hope when I returned to the city had in fact been the unborn soul of her child.
That's a simplification, but he's not entirely wrong.
I know she was the child that was supposed to be in an alternate timeline where she would have been allowed to grow the child to term.
Yuki, unfortunately, with apparently the best interests of the city at heart, had made a deal with a demon. A deal by which she had promised the demon naming rights over her firstborn child. Wait to see your action.
There is a little bit of concern on Rosa's face, and then he's going to look over to the prince and said, "I understand the lost caliph is still in the city."
Yes, but I do not believe that these two instances or events have any correlation with one another. He is speaking of a true servant of the Dark One as opposed to a Shen who has far too much power and far too little sense.
I see. He'll then turn back. So, she had essentially become one of the corrupted ones.
There are subtleties. She had not accepted a personal stayed upon her soul. She had not sold her own soul or accepted an investment upon it. But she had willingly committed an infernalism by consorting with the devil. The creature incidentally uses the used name of Faust, the famous infernalist.
Just gonna think for a moment. That name has been spoken in the city for quite some time.
Yes.
Even before I left the first time.
Yes. So, do you understand the significance of naming rights over a child?
It grants... If we were to look at this from the perspective of us, by allowing a minion of Angro Mainyu to possess the name over a mortal soul, it would then be able to exert absolute control over the child's soul to the point of possession or even absolute assimilation, at which point the child would be lost to the light of Hashem forever.
There were some initial ideas that might be what the demon was intending, to create a perfect host for itself. It turned out to be something far worse. The demon apparently had acquired a true name of the first of the fallen, and intended to implant that name in the soul, in the child, to have it reborn into the world and thus escape hell.
I do not know what would have possessed Jewel, Yuki, to do such a thing.
Well, as I said, I believe she sincerely did the deal for the sake of others. I believe that she did not properly understand the significance of names, as her tradition does not use them the way we do. And she was planning to simply not have any children. This went on, and she was talking about this. I hear talking about it in this very place quite openly for a while. Many mages in the city were shockingly not acting on it. It's quite a scandal. Leaders of traditions in the city were, as you say, sitting down a lot and not standing and acting. And increasingly, a great many other mages who were not tradition heads were becoming concerned that this was a sign of corruption, because people who knowingly harbour a confessed infernalist become themselves guilty.
That is the backwards law of your traditions, yes?
Oh, is it different in yours?
Quite.
Oh, please enlighten me.
He's gonna look to the prince and just say, I don't think you would understand, my prince.
No. We will tell him. He will. At this point, he'll extend his hand. Kim, the cobra's like he gives because the two snakes appear to be having what you would only understand as a rapid conversation in snake. But the cobra kind of gives you a sad, I'm sorry, I have to go look. Like as in a, aww. His little whatchamacallit, I believe they're called fins or fans, the things on the side of a cobra's head, even kind of dip a little bit, so you can see he's clearly sad. He's an expressive snaky boy. Yes, he is. But he will then slither away. You gentlemen will then see him as he slithers up the prince's arm and comes to kind of rest. He wraps around his chest once and lays his head on the shoulder. He doesn't seem at all unnerved by it. For the record, Roros has probably met his familiar at least once.
I'm sure, yeah.
Which
will cause Roros to bow his head in acknowledgement and appreciation for the familiar's continued service.
He will say, you judge an individual guilty based upon guilt via this association, yes?
I do not say mere association.
What would you say then?
Well, to knowingly harbour a criminal, to hide them from justice, that is itself a crime.
So, allow me to...
I mean, this is Ireland. Irish law has at times recognised guilt by association. Simply membership of a prescribed group has been a crime in this country. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it has been the law here.
Yes. However, consider this, Inshati. When it is that you boil it all away, in the end, when it was all said and done, how is it this woman met her end?
She eventually, when the other traditions failed to act, she for some reason decided to visit the abode of Lord Sisho, who promptly arrested her. That's an emotional chain of events by which precipitated a trial. She chose to confess at the trial and requested, as her tradition calls it, the good death.
Ah, I see. So what you are saying is, rather than an execution, she in fact opted for suicide.
She was executed. She requested to be executed for her crimes.
So she committed suicide.
Suicide by their party, I believe, is the proper definition, my prince.
So This was.
I could assisted suicide.
I will accept this. I will accept this wording. It is good wording. Ultimately, you are not inherently incorrect. We, however, do not view the individual who wishes to perform a noble deed, even if that noble deed is only the, how would you say, was this Jewel attempting to corrupt other people, telling them that they must follow her dark path, they must turn their light back on the light of Azura Mazda, they must swear themselves to this Hatshen.
Not to my knowledge.
So what
Then
you're saying?
she was no corruptor.
So what you're saying is that you would.
Not to my knowledge. I can't say. I can't speak for the conversations you had with every person.
Have you ever read in your life, my friend, the 1001 Arabian Nights?
No, I can't say I'm familiar with all of them.
Do you have any idea how many times throughout those pages of hallowed antiquity you will read the phrase, "and the jinn tricked the man"?
There's a bit of a twitch at that. It would not surprise me. You have your jinn here in the West. We have enough stories of the fair folk and their tricksy ways.
I assure you that the Eshu and the jinn are separate entities, but that is neither here nor there. So, for the record, interestingly enough, Eshu is just a catch-all term for Eastern quote-unquote fairykin or changelings.
Mm.
The bigger, the more you know. But he will say, but no. It seems to me that this jewel was tricked by a jinn or a dark spirit. When it was, as you pointed out, that she meant only the best of things. There was no evil or malice in her actions or her words. She more than did she do this? Why did she do this? What was her reason for making such a deal?
I'm not familiar with the specifics. I was not involved at that time.
I see.
I gather it's for some common good to help with some other threat to the city.
I see. So this woman placed herself, admittedly with ignorance of forethought, without forethought, in the line of this beast. And it was that she selflessly gave of herself even more than should be asked of any. And rather than celebrate the lauded compassion that she showed, the fact that she was the one who would be gored by the horns of the bull, you would say that not only is she evil because of a mistake, admittedly a costly mistake, but a mistake, but also those whom are her friends, whom would not see her punished for a mistake, are also guilty of a crime.
The defense you make of her is surprisingly similar to the same defense I made of her at her trial.
This is good. It goes to prove that you have not been entirely blinded by the deceivers.
Though, can I point out to you that it was not simply her she was sacrificing. If it was her child.
Yes, and as you pointed out, Kishati, she had no intention of having one. So it was that fate conspired against not only her, but against all those who were.
Well, you say fate. It may be the deceiver, as you put it, actively conspired to arrange her to become pregnant.
Oh no, it was the corruptor that arranged for her to become. It was the corruptor that was responsible for the naming of the child. The deceivers, though, they could have been responsible for her impregnation to begin with. I can't imagine her having a child with anyone other than Sketch. The two were madly in love when I left.
But as I said, Hinchati, the fact of the matter is that this woman made a mistake, admittedly a grievous error, but this is only an element of the tale, and yet you would see her damned, you would see her executed or punishment-laden, you would see those who were her friends, you say conspire, whereas I say protect.
People did, yes. As I said, I spoke in her defense.
Yes, but you were also saying that these people were guilty of a crime. For wanting
a crime. There are magnitudes of crime.
You have to understand, the Teftani are Zoroastrian. To be accused of a crime is to be accused of all crime.
How do you deal with a petty shoplifter.
He loses
The
a hand.
hands. If he has only one hand, he will be more mindful of where he places it.
What is the difference between if you steal a beggar's shekel or a caliph's jewel? Both have been stolen. One is of greater value, but why does that matter?
An interesting perspective.
The matter is still
So
it's closed.
that
I thought that she was pregnant with Sketchy's child.
just to finish the story. So there was a trial. Well, rather, there would have been a trial, but she started by confessing, and she requested death. It was agreed that simple death with no other consequences be granted. You understand the Euthanatos have certain beliefs on the matter of death.
Roros will nod his head at that.
She was executed. At that point, the creature Faust appeared and reclaimed the name he had put on the child. The story. Okay, that is the end of Yuki's story. That does not, I know, explain fully as you say, what happens to that soul.
Sorry, just 1 second. I just have to button again. Kim, do you exist?
Mm-hmm.
You hear a whisper out of the corner of your ear. Oh my. They do tend to prattle on, don't they?
It is possible.
Possible? Do your ears not tell you what your eyes can see?
I see one informing another.
Fascinating. How they do tend to like to talk. That is legal, that is not. That is good, that is bad. When in the end, well, there is only the end.
And who exactly are you to be whispering in my ear?
Shall we say, as you stand on this soil, I am merely a humble friend of the family.
Then perhaps a humble friend of the family would care to give a name.
Oh my. You feel hands on your shoulders? But if you turn around, do you have spirit side active?
No, I haven't really had time to get any of my sights and shit up.
Cool. Well, as I said, you can feel hands on your shoulder, but if you turn, you don't see anything.
Alright.
At which point, as you'll feel one hand slip from your shoulder, but the other is still grasping it. And then you will see on the table in front of you a small business card that was not there before.
Alright.
Do you pick it up?
Yep.
It simply says, and this is an old friend of Kim's. Hi, Kim.
Hello?
It simply says, Madam Maeve, Artificer of the Maskers Guild, or Head Artificer of the Maskers Guild.
This bitch! That's fine. She's not as cool as the real OG Maeve. My Maeve. Rest in peace, Maeve, wherever your little technocracy ass is. Probably off
Has she
doing
gotten the
shit with my technocracy friends.
how the hell she got in the Masters Guild? I'm still surprised, but okay.
Nah, there were two different Maeves.
Oh, okay.
She didn't actually become yeah. Anyway. Yeah, she'll.
The last thing you hear before the present slips away is, come and pay me a visit sometime.
Perhaps sometime.
My. You have your mother's temperament.
My mother?
And with that, the presence is gone.
Oh, God. There is some very angry cursing in Greek over in the corner.
The snake pops its head up. His immediate response is, time for mice?
No, not time for mice.
Can it be time for mice?
If you can find a mice around here, or a mouse.
Sorry, you guys continue your debate. I just love fucking with Kim on the side.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, I hope knowing that brings you some closure at least.
It does.
I'm saddened that no one else thought to tell you this story.
Well, Samira has been busy with her own things, including her sister, Templehoff. But it's funny how they condemned Jewel to Yuki.
Mm.
Do you know how Templehoff came to be with us?
No, I don't think I do.
There was an Aetheryte by the name of Dr. Templehoff, a great Aetheryte from what I understand. He had a daughter, and he lost his daughter. So he set out a machine to collect body parts to bring his daughter back to life. And succeeded.
Mhm.
The only problem is that his daughter had died in the grips of being a corruptor. So when she was brought back in the form of a corruptor. She laid unspeakable havoc upon the city and even killed her own father in the process. She, however, had Samira's heart inside of her. Samira had been able to survive losing her heart through her awakening. This is what I was told. Because they shared a heart, there was a connection between the two of them. When we went to stop her, the Templehoff,
Mhm.
she was struggling with what her life had been like with her father versus what had happened to her. I sang quite an inspiring song and led quite an inspiring, what's the word I'm looking for? Attempt to sway Templehoff back to the way she was, and in the end it was the light of Jewel's heart, it was the light of Samira's heart, it was the light of all of our hearts that brought her back to being who she was meant to be.
Oh, I did hear a story about Nafandi being redeemed.
That was Templehoff.
I didn't tell the detail. I wasn't told the details beyond that. Would this
Jewel was one of the ones responsible for bringing Templehoff back into the light.
would this also be connected to? There was a moment of missing time when time stopped.
That was a different incident. That happened before I came here. Unfortunately, I would have been interested in seeing that.
Those two incidents, the Nathandis being redeemed and time being stopped, that was what allowed the demon Faust to steal the name in the first place.
If I could ever find out who the person responsible for the time stopping was, I would definitely punch him in the face. However, I will not apologize for the redemption of Templehoff. She suffered a crap life because of her father's insistence upon her own perfection.
Mm.
He only realized what he had lost after she died the first time.
Is it possible Faust was involved in your attempts at that time?
I do not know.
Okay. I'm wondering if
sorry, go ahead.
I'm wondering if the demon was helping you behind the scenes to arrange that circumstance to be fulfilled so he could acquire the name.
Well, the thing is that was only part of the infernalism problem. At the same time, a demon was trying to enter the world itself. And I was a part of the team that went to stop Templehoff, and there were others that went to stop the demon, and there were others still that went to complete the ritual needed to stop it all.
Which demon was this?
I was not told the name.
And
however, it is possible.
It wasn't necessarily what you would call a demon. It was That which has never been touched by the light. It
I
was
remember that. Yes.
a demon is someone who has fallen from the light of Azura Mazda. This is a being who was never touched by the light. I believe the colloquial term is outsider.
It is possible Faust was involved in it. I do not know. I had never met the man. I'd only heard his name spoken around.
How informed are you on the affairs with the Templars? Or should I call them the Canticles of Lamination?
I was there when it started. When they came into town swearing Holy Inquisition upon everybody, and me being a Zoroastrian and also a brown person, was deathly afraid of these people trying to do something.
Okay.
However, we actually saved their leader by stopping Tempelhof, as well as stopping the Midnight Clock and stopping the outsider from entering this world. And how did he repay us? By continuing his pathetic jihad.
Well, that matter is a long story, but it actually interrelates. Okay, I don't know. I'll try to put this together in a concise and comprehensible way. So, as you say, they came to the city, and indeed, they were active all over the world. The Knights Templar joined the Celestial Chorus. They then began a purge of those of the Celestial Chorus who are not from the Judeo-Christian religions. Those who are not people of the book. They then announced they were leaving the traditions to become the Canticles of Lamentation. Lamentation, thank you. The traditions very quickly decided that no, you don't speak for the chorus, you can leave, but that doesn't mean the chorus are leaving. They continued with quite brutal effectiveness, rounding up, as I said, everyone, those of faith who are not of the book. We eventually learned what they were doing. They'd found a way to sacrifice people, to absorb all their quintessence, all their souls, all their spirits, all their faith, and blend it all together. They were essentially trying to create a new celestial being.
Doesn't that violate their tenet of faith? Have no God before me?
No, not a god, a celestial being, an angel.
Doesn't that also violate a tenet of their faith?
Well, I'm pretty sure it violates the whole not killing part, but...
I'm sorry. You're new to being Catholic, I understand.
They were acting under direction from Raphael.
You mean the skinny bloke that got his arm broken?
Yes, except he'd
He's
be given them instructions which he allowed them to misinterpret.
He's a big turd.
As he admitted himself, he was skirting the lines, but not quite breaking them. So, if you can understand their fanatical zeal, from their point of view, they were receiving direct instructions from an archangel and acting on them.
Where is Siren's mother doing all this?
Well, beg pardon?
Siren's mother, where was she? It.
Who is Siren's mother?
An archangel. You did not know this.
Which I'm not that acquainted with Master Siren.
Refresh. I think it was Gabriel, wasn't it?
Gabrielle.
It was Gabrielle.
She gets annoyed with the fact that people keep, masculizing her.
Yeah.
There was a brief mention of Gabrielle I heard about in relation to Yuki, actually. When Yuki was pregnant and it was established what she was carrying, Gabriel attempted to slay her. Gabrielle attempted to slay her to stop it and was prevented because that would have broken the rules. but Gabriel was prepared to commit that act of self-sacrifice to put an end to it.
Essentially, she would have followed. How would you say in English? It's such an unwieldy language. She was willing to break the laws of. She was willing to break the laws of Azura Mazda and fall as they must fall when it is they turn their back on the light.
So I'm told. I wasn't personally present. But coming back to the Templars, so we eventually assaulted the Templars, seeking to rescue their prisoners, and uncovered what I've related. It turned out, as I said, Raphael had given instructions which he deliberately allowed them to misinterpret. A certain demon was also present, the being who, as I said, known as Faust. His plan was to give the aforementioned true name of a fallen to the vessel they had created.
So, an archangel and a demon worked together to trick a bunch of Catholics into creating a demon?
Well, to release the first of the fallen from hell.
Not only that, but consider this, and this is the part that is terrifying. A demon loses what you would call a demon, Hishati. When it has fallen, it has lost its physical body, its physical corpus, as I believe is the correct phrase. But from what you've described, this being had the body of an angelic being, meaning it would have been a fallen angel invested with the powers and the majesty that would not have been lost to it if it were just a spirit that must cling to humans as hosts.
Yes. Where else to begin? The Archbishop of the Templars, he once I challenged him about truly what they would do. I challenged him of the name of the thing they had created, and he realized at that point he had not been told, and he realized that he had been played. The demon Faust was defeated and cast down. The body, however, then awoke. By God's grace, it had been granted its own human soul.
Roll me manipulation subterfuge.
Why? I'm telling the truth.
You know it wasn't by God's grace. You know what put the soul in it.
So I'm confused. What put the soul in it?
Lucifer. Lucifer popped up and did it.
Oh no, I didn't. Oh, okay. I'm not. I honestly didn't know that. Okay.
Were you not? You were there for the scene. That was why they had.
I didn't know Lucifer put the soul in.
Yep. That was why they had the big. That was why they had the big debate. He said, "I can let you kill the vessel, or I can put the soul into it."
Oh, I don't recall they put the soul into it. Okay, in that case, I'll explain that then. Okay, fine. As we were fighting Azrael, a certain individual known who I believe prefers to be called Lucy appeared. Pauses for recognition.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What did you say?
We were while we were in conflict with Faust, the being who I believe likes to be called Lucy appears. Waits for
At least they're not using the name for the Lost Caliph, which I find gratifying.
Cultural misappropriation is cultural misappropriation.
Hey, I wonder how the Etruscans feel about them using that name.
And a human soul was placed into the body by by Lucy. Or so it professed. It awoke as a blank slate. The demon Faustus, as I say, has been cast down by God's grace. So at least that is something I do not expect to hear from again. After some delay, eventually the being who say is called Hope has become my ward. I say I was there. I was there when she awoke, and I was me that gave it her name. Its used name. It came to me. God's Hope.
It is a fitting name.
I honestly think it just came to me. The greatest of these is hope.
You are inspired by the light of your own God, therefore it didn't come to you, it was meant to be.
And she's been, I believe the Celestial Court has spent some quality time with her to examine her, but for now, she's another young person in this world. She has, and has become my charge. So I hope that puts the events of recent days into context for you.
Yes, it does. I thank you for that.
By the way,
Still
Tim, Erebus returns with a mouse in his mouth. He seems happy with life.
Did you steal one of their mice?
Yes.
You better not get caught.
You were the one who said, if I could find a mouse, I could have a mouse.
I didn't think you were going to steal.
You should have been more specific.
I thought you weren't going to be so stupid.
It would seem as though both of our aspirations today were incorrect.
Hurry up and eat the mouse already, jeez. You aren't getting any more pinkies for a week.
But pinkies.
Nope.
You're familiar with lose a dot of loyalty.
Which the fuck you would?
I'm only fucking with you, but yeah, no. Sorry, continue.
As I say, that is a version of the events. I'm sure I have not included every small little detail. Do you have any questions?
No. You've caught up a lot of what Samira was unable to tell me, either through grief or through not knowing. Still, it does not change the fact that I miss my friend. I miss both of them.
Yuki and Sketch, you mean?
Yes.
Sketch is alive as far as I know. As I said, people were annoyed with him. There was talk of charges for murdering a competent defector and endangering everyone else. So he fled the city at that time. I have no idea where he's gone.
I do not know. More than likely, he is broken in his heart. Maybe he'll come back one day.
If he's heard what's happened since he left.
No, I'm referring to if she showed back up and pregnant, then Sketch would have left thinking that she had betrayed him. As I said, the two were madly...
I see what you mean. I'm not entirely sure exactly when he left, so I... Yeah.
The two were madly and deeply in love.
That's sad. Sad business in many ways.
Oh,
I feel like I've been talking a great deal. Perhaps there's something you would like to share, some other story of the city which I should hear about. So you were active here before I was.
And how
Well,
about
you-
this? The prince, he'll say, standing, young lady, you don't seem to be eating or drinking. Is hospitality not good enough? I will have my servants whipped 1,000 times through the streets. I will have them whipped.
Russ will look over. Yes, you should eat and drink. I say roasted camel.
Hey Kim, some roasted camel appears in front of you.
She's gonna kind of sigh. She's still got her hood up, so she just looks pretty much like she does in the picture. And she'll just kind of glance, and the hood turns to face the rest of you guys, and she'll just kind of say, "I ate before I left, but hospitality is fine, thank you."
Then you must drink. Drink with us then. Yes, this is good.
Russ will nod his head and hold up his chalice full of swirling red liquid and say, yes, you should try the Code Zero. It's very good. The Code Red is very good.
I am fine with water. Though I must apologize, my friend found one of your mice.
Oh, that is fine. Let him eat to his heart's content. This is a place where we answer whatever desire it is that you may have, even if there's a desire you do not necessarily know you have at this moment in time. But yes, I should have my servants whipped through the streets.
There's no need for that.
Does
Okay,
your
no.
snake wish for more mice? We can get them. We can get him more mice.
The head immediately pops up. Mice.
He is. She is fine.
The head immediately goes down. Sad.
You don't need to gorge yourself,
But mice.
but gorging yourself.
Sad snake.
Exactly. It would be a fat snake.
But he will say, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance anyway, youngest. If you have been able to find your way into our humble little establishment, this means you are not as normal as you may appear to be.
No, I suppose I am not normal.
Ah, well then. Come and be abnormal with us.
Yes, to the light of the truth, and may the deceivers choke on their own words. And he will raise his glass and he will tip it back and drain it and set it down.
Toast. I like it.
She'll stand up and just kind of pick her bag up, slinging it over her shoulder before walking her over to the rest of the group.
The snakes will exchange another nose boop. So what is your name, young miss?
Zephyranthes.
Huh.
But most simply call me Zephyr.
So are you the wind or the flower?
Perhaps I am simply the flower that dances in the wind.
I like her. She has a poetic soul. She may stay.
Thank you. I'm somewhat good at poetry.
Allow me to introduce your host, the Prince Ashir, of the leader of the Teftani tradition, because they do consider themselves a tradition, even though they're not one of the 9 traditions. The Teftani tradition and Prince of Dubai. I am his humble servant, Roas Okazari, also of the Teftani tradition. Prince
Also
of what?
He may also Dubai.
Also of Dubai. I'm considered the Prince of Innovatech. Not Innovatech. What was the name of the company? VisuWare. VisuWare is one of the largest software companies in the world, hosted that is based out of Dubai.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
Russell nods his head.
And you, Zephyr, of the what?
Phil! They shrug.
Come now, I sense that there is a story behind the many layers, behind the obscured face that is a Zephyr. Or is it a tale that only few can tell, and many more lament having ever heard it?
I am sure many, well, now that I think of it, most of the ones who lament meeting me never heard my name.
So, will you not favor us and tell us which organization you are a part of? It is a good tradition.
You Thanatos.
Ah, I see. I assure you, I'm rather healthy and have a good soul. There's no need to put a knife in me.
She must meet Smyra. Smyra is one of my friends, and she is also one of the local Yathanatoi. She would most definitely benefit from meeting you.
I don't
I'm sure she
know if
also
benefit is the word.
I'm sure she also has a very nice soul. I'm just saying.
She has
And
quite a
why
very good soul.
I'm here to simply kill.
Mostly because we've met you Thanatos before.
Out of all places, I thought here the stereotypes would be lessened.
You must forgive my prince. He has a very twisted sense of humor. I, however, have known many Euthanatos and have no issue with them. Like I said, my friend Samira, one of my closest friends in the city, in fact, she is sort of the de facto leader of the younger Euthanatos. People look to her for anything. So if you have any questions, let me give you her number. He's going to pull out a piece of paper, write down Samira's name and number, and pass it over to Zephyr. She can help you get situated in the city if you still need help situating yourself.
I have managed to find a small sanctum and place to live, so I should be.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you, though. And she will kind of take. She'll take the card, but she'll just kind of toss it into her bag.
You'll hear a vague boop. Ow.
That didn't even hurt you, and you know it.
Is it time for more mice?
No, it is not time for new mice.
I like to think you just close the bag, just like. Oh.
She's very tempted to just shut the bag on his face.
Just to clarify, is the snake speaking in English?
No,
Openly?
snake speaks through a telepathic link that familiars share with their owner.
Okay.
Some familiars do speak in English, but I'll make it clear.
Just want to clarify. Okay.
I mean, Kim, can Erebus speak in English? Or Greek?
Yeah, if Erebus ever spoke out loud, it would be in Greek, given that they're a Greek and, be Greek.
Wait,
And C, Greek.
is Erebus a Thessalian pit viper?
No. Erebus is a Milos viper.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to Google what they were too.
Right.
They're just regular ass vipers. From
I thought you'd have a Thessalian two-step, which is the Grecian snake that bites you, you take 2 steps and you die. So anyway, back in the
never heard
character.
of that snake, so
It's a nasty snake.
I'm now going to have to find a suitable picture for Erebus.
I'll create an overlay as soon as I get some money to commission for this character. So
The Irish were once proud that there were no snakes here.
The cobra lazily looks at you. Like it lifts its head, looks at you, flicks its tongue out, lays its head back down.
Zephyr will kind of stand there for a moment before the hood kind of turns to look at him and will say, "You were here before I was, and if I remember correctly, the whole snakes out of Ireland was a term for the saint pushing all of the witches out.
It's also
You
true.
were here before me, and thus you were the snake before I."
No, it's also quite literally true that snakes never got to Ireland naturally.
That I know.
I like it. She talks in metaphor and understands the metaphor she talks in.
But I'm not sure we had proper deductions there. You probably heard it earlier. Rupert Gallo, Magus of the Order of Hermes.
Wonderful.
So what brings you to Ireland?
To be here.
That is as good a reason as any. Let's drink.
I like this plan.
Are you sure that you just don't simply like drinking?
He's going
I
to
also
smile
like
and
this
say, he's just going to smile and hold up his thing. I actually don't drink alcohol.
By the way, Kim,
Don't know why.
question. Does your character have a Greek accent? I know you're not affecting one, but do they have a noticeable Greek accent?
It is so thick.
Excellent. He will bring the prince will bring his hand crashing down at the table, at which point a bottle of ouzo will appear.
Much like your friend here, I don't drink. Not usually.
In that case, it is simply more for me. Ha ha!
Exactly.
So now that
So-
you are here, that you found your feet, as it were, what is it that you intend to do? Do you intend to walk and see, or do you merely intend to stand and admire?
I intend to walk and see and do my duty. Whatever that might be. I have a feeling, though, that I will not gain many friends. At least not here.
Well, you know what? You have a friend in me. I consider everyone a friend until they give me reason to be otherwise. Though I'm not useful as a friend, I'm just... What's what I'm looking for? I'm good at fighting. But I'm only a junior at university, so I don't have many marketable skills yet.
Everyone is useful in their own ways. Everyone has a destiny, whether they believe it or they realize it.
Perhaps one day I will know the truth. Until then, I will continue to learn my ways about the world and continue to grow. It is not easy being 20 surrounded by a bunch of adults.
If I remember, in Ireland, it should be about 4 to 2 years above the adult limit. Are you not?
You would be correct. However, I've spent most of my youth training. Training to be a future CEO, training to be a master of the energetic abilities. Did not have much time for childhood. Childhood is technically now.
So you would consider childhood a series of
BRB.
activities and No.
On that note, I have other business to attend to. The prince will stand and he will offer a slight bow to the group. Before he will weave his fingers together and he will pull them apart. There is a momentary rushing of energy between his fingers, and
Sorry
Kim,
about that.
he will hand you a perfectly formed, beautiful Zapharanthus flower, and he will say, "It was a pleasure to make your acquaintance, young miss. Please come again."
She'll take the flower and she'll kind of nod her head and she'll say, "Thank you. And if I might, if you wish to keep the wraiths out, I would suggest reforming your wards if you had any. Seems one got in earlier."
This place is welcome haven to the living and the dead. They may come here if they wish, provided they did not cause trouble.
As you say.
In that case, Shet and Hachette, it has been a pleasure to see you all again, and I shall hope that you will soon be my guest once again. If you will excuse me, other matters require my attention.
Of course, my prince.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Oh, and if you two ever like playing Xbox, you should come over to my sanctum. I have quite a big screen TV with the Xbox One.
I can't say I have ever played Xbox.
Oh, then you have missed out. I could teach you how to play Halo. Call of Duty is for little girls.
She kind of stops. And she looks over at him, and she'll just kind of say, "And is that a problem?"
No, I meant little boys that act like little girls.
Is that a problem?
What's his best way to say this?
I
Have
think
you ever heard anybody whine so loud that it seems to screech through the barrier of this world and the next?
Yes.
That is what Call of Duty players sound like.
And?
And if you were to play like a normal person, I could understand that. But when you screech loudly and claim that you had sex with my mother last night, which was physically impossible because I was playing with somebody from the United States and my mother is in Dubai. Still, you'll understand.
So instead of perhaps teaching these children how to be more kind and effective, it is best to simply talk about them then.
Do you think these games will positive influence on such children?
Probably not Call of Duty, but Halo is. Actually, if you would...
How is that a positive influence?
Halo teaches you how to fight with friends. Call of Duty teaches you how to be a whiny little mouse.
She just kind of shakes her head.
I apologize for misspeaking in what I said earlier. They are not any type of person. They are merely whiny little mice. Is that better?
She just kind of waves her hand dismissively.
Perhaps your snake would like them. Can your snake travel through the data streams?
No.
Pity.
My. What interesting conversations people do tend to have.
Rose is going to look over at Scary. He's going to be like, I have not seen you in way too long.
Gravedigger sounding ass.
Gravedigger sounds entirely different.
No, not when you first came in on this dude. I was like, bro?
I was going to come in on Gravedigger, but then I was just like, no, he will meet the only person in town edgier than him in an edgier way.
And then he'll feel sad because you got out-edgied.
Either that or love an edginess contest against you, which I can only describe as the weirdest looking fashion show known to mankind. But you gentlemen and ladies, You'll see this gentleman walk in. He's dressed in a long kind of trench coat that has a number of kind of chains hanging from it, and they're kind of a really kind of punk goth style. He's wearing kind of like the old kind of head kicker boots that you can tell of metal metal toe caps. He's quite skinny, and he's got a backpack over his shoulder. He's got headphones in his ears, and yeah, all of the cybernetics are there, but you need to know where you're looking because his head does, his hair covers most of them. But if you know where you're looking, you can see them. But he'll walk into the room and he'll say, "Oh, right. Sorry. Ah, yes. Well, look on the bright side, Roris. I'm here now, and I'm still me. So I guess that's a good thing, or at least somewhat positive. Maybe kind of, sort of."
This is. I have something to show you. He's going to dig out his bag. He's going to dig out his laptop, and it looks like it's bulkier than usual. He's going to set it down, open it, and say, "I threw 2 beasts in this thing. It takes a small city to run it."
Iscariot kind of kneels down, and you'll see him. His fingers click over the keys really quickly, and he'll say, "Nice rig. If you ever want me to lighten it or soup it for you, you only have to ask."
How much would you like?
I don't really care for money.
I could give you access to the next version of software out from VisuWare.
Deal. Has Gallo met Iscariot or not?
I don't think so. I mean, there may have been the odd scene where he walked through, but no, I don't think so.
Sup? Iscariot kind of looks up and he puts his forefinger and his thumb to his forehead and he kind of flicks like in the kind of greeting kind of way, and he's like, "Sup?"
Hello?
Wow. I'm sorry. Is there a person underneath all of those layers?
I could ask you much the same.
I mean, at least you're able to have a laugh at yourself. What can I say? You're automatically 10% cooler than most people I know.
If you say so.
I mean, I'm pretty rarely wrong. But hey, what can I say? Say lovey, I guess. Hi, old guy. He'll say, looking at Gallo.
Didn't realise I was that old.
I mean, Gallo's what, in his 40s?
I don't sure it's actually defined. But yeah, I could go with early
Well,
40s.
I was going with the kind of the picture looks like a guy in his 40s.
Okay. Well, thank you. I don't get called that very often.
Well, I suppose it's nice to meet you.
We were just discussing whether what was it, Call of Duty is a bad influence on children. Perhaps right on the matter.
Well, for the record, hi. He'll extend a hand.
Accept it.
My name's Iscariot.
Rupert.
Is Rupert the kind of guy who reads the newspapers?
Yes.
Iscariot's quite a well-known cyber terrorist. He's essentially He's essentially a one-man version of Anonymous.
Okay.
But he tends to do things like his big thing is he tends to do things with things like religious crimes. So child sex abuse in the church, things like that. He tends to expose people who've been abusing religious authority.
Right.
That's his big bee in his bonnet.
Okay.
But just so you know, so he'll say, as for Call of Duty, frankly, they're all pussies.
Gives him a vague look for bad language.
Oh yeah, but I'm a virtual adept, by the way, in case you can't tell.
Oh, did you know? What was the poor fellow's name? OC. Remember the virtual adept who sacrificed himself for the Leviathan?
It was Winray.
Winrate. Oh, did you know Winrate?
Yeah,
Winrate.
I knew Winrate.
He died?
Oh, you hadn't. Sorry, you hadn't heard. I don't suppose you would have done.
I thought he just vanished off in the data stream somewhere.
He died heroically on the Leviathan mission. As I said, after Sketch did his thing, events were set in motion. They became very hostile towards us. We ended up confronted with a bomb, and Winrate sacrificed himself to save the rest of us and the mission.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
Winright and Eliza were using my software to basically crack the computer core.
Hmm.
At the time, they were using my Eidolon system to crack the core, but Winright was a good guy. He and I went on a bunch of raids together, so it was a shame. What that fucking idiot sketch did was fucking moronic. No,
I
I'm
can
not-
understand
I mean-
why he did it. I just do not. Just wish he did not.
Well, no, I'm gonna say it right now. If I'd been there, I fucking vaporized him.
Which is understandable, yes.
Right. So it took us 18 months. 18 months to agree the baseline for the fucking Treaty of Seattle with the Mechno Technos. Like, holy crap, that was some work. And like this took us 18 months just to agree the basics of a ceasefire where we could agree to stop brutally murdering each other. And the reason it took us so long is because we had fuckwits like that guy who decided, you know what, I'm just going to take the law into my own hands. Blam!
I didn't know it took that long. Oh wait, yes I did. That's true. By the way, thank you on getting Nightshade back for us.
It's all good.
I sense a story I haven't heard. Who is Nightshade exactly?
Nightshade was about the eye. He's a member of the Disparate Alliance, like the Teftani are. He had rescued the cast-offs of the Technocracy's biomedical peoples, and he created a circus that was able to sustain them, as well as give them a place in society. The Deceivers then raided them and took them back, and then held Nightshade as a prisoner of war. And despite my pleadings to go after and rescue him because he did not deserve to be incarcerated and his people did not deserve to be incarcerated, I was turned down again and again.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of a lot of a lot of the upper echelons, like the boss of the boss of the boss upstairs, you know, they look at the Disparate Alliance and they just see, well, you're not really a tradition mage, so we don't really care. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, that's totally how to win hearts and minds there, chum.
Well, we got him back. That's the important thing. I know that myself and Gravedigger, while we are both quite adept, we're not enough to go in after them, even with the help of the other Teftani and even other members of the Bata Eye. But we would have needed the traditional support to go in after them, and they just would not give it to us.
Shit happens, I guess. Yes, if Gallo is disapproving of bad language, Nightshade swears like once a sentence. Or not Nightshade, fucking Iscariot swears at least once a sentence.
Fuck.
Did you just want to scream fuck, Kim? Is that where we are now?
Yeah, I just wanted to scream fuck.
It's okay. Fuckery!
Fuckery.
Well, I've got to get to class. I will speak to all of you at a later point, including you, Zephyr. My name and number is on the back of that piece of paper I gave you, just in case you like to play video games or want to go somewhere really fast. Because I have a very fast car, and I do not mind using its speed to my advantage.
I have never played any video games.
I'm just saying it right now. I'm saying what we're all thinking. Drag racing?
Maybe another time.
Excellent.
Do you know that my father is still paying off the loan of the car that got slagged in the Shadowlands?
Oh, well, okay.
He does. The thing is that he's taking it out of my allowance to teach me a lesson to take better care of my vehicles.
I mean, you did kind of mess up that Aetheryte dude who decided to be teleported in front of it. That was gooky.
That was an unfortunate circumstance on his part.
Yeah. Needless to say, we finally figured out the question: what happens to a man when he gets hit by a luxury car moving at supersonic speeds?
The answer is Curse Bloody Pow. Anyway, take care, Iscariot. When I come to pick up that laptop, I will bring the new software.
Cool.
Rupert, Miss Zephyr. Goodbye, Miss Zephyr Snake. And he'll actually wave to Miss Zephyr Snake. Says, my friend, we must go.
The snake will rise very slowly and give you a. It's a sup nod, but it's clearly meant to be a goodbye sup nod.
Right. Roros will head outside and will jump in the McLaren, wait for his friend to get in, and they'll take off. And I've got to go make dinner, so I'll see you guys later.
No worries. I think we're
See
gonna
ya.
call the scene. I think we're gonna call the scene here anyway. So, with that in mind, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin where we've had fuckery.
So